What's up, everybody? My name is Luie Viisuals, and I'm here with Cloudy Conversations, ready to have a good day.
Alright guys, so welcome back to another episode of Cloudy Conversations. Today's guest is videographer, photographer, Luie Viisuals. Thank you for sitting down with us.
Oh, of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Now, it's not often that we find ourselves on the other side of the camera, so I'm definitely super excited to get to sit down and talk to you a bit about your journey and the brand that you've been building thus far. You're from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what was life like for you growing up there?
I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, everything has its challenges. It was. If anything, I wouldn't change a thing. It built me into who I am today. But it was for sure a lot of challenges. I mean, I was the only white kid in an all-black school. You know, I'm Puerto Rican and white, so I was too white for Puerto Ricans and too Puerto Rican for whites. So it was like I kind of never really fit in. I just always had to just be me. So it was just like whoever I was is who I was. Like I wasn't really that person to just go somewhere and fit in just because of the way I looked. It was just who I was as a person. So, I mean, that really built me and really, like, helped me not shy away from being who I am as a person, especially as going into, like, college and meeting different people and professions and stuff like that. Like, knowing who you are is really important.
Okay. Now, you mentioned, like, you were, like, the only, I guess, the minority in the group of the majority.
Yeah.
Did you experience any difficult situation with like different students, or was it like you said, where did it come from more so your culture, your Puerto Rican people don't say, oh no, you too white for us, the white people, oh you're Puerto Rican, like, or did the blacks say you just a white boy, like?
I mean, yeah, I always got that, like, I'm just a white boy. I mean, that's cool, and I embrace that, like, I'm cool, I am white, you feel me? I am a white boy, that is perfectly cool with me. But, I mean, you always have those group of people that are jerks, you know, that say things like, especially as kids, you say things that is just like, what the, like, you know, and it's just, of course you're going to have those challenges, like, you know, unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, I mean, I'm white, you know, I am white. Unfortunately, my culture history is not that great, you feel me? Like, it's not wonderful, and there's things that like I heard as kids that was like, you know, I hear some people that I thought was my friends be like, oh, we're about to lynch you like you did our people, and I'm like, what? I'm in like third grade. What you mean? Like, you feel me? Like that's not really. I mean, it was always those type of challenges growing up, but then I also got that from like white people when I got into high school, like. Being in the band and the Drumline and stuff like that at Harrisburg, you know, traveling to different places. I always was called, I mean, you don't know how many times I was called a traitor.
Oh, dang.
Like, you don't know how many times I was called a traitor by other schools and stuff like that. It was wild, but, I mean, like I said...
Did you ever feel like a traitor to your culture?
No, I mean, no. I mean, I am who I am, and honestly, and that's how I've always come up, like, I never felt like a traitor. Like, you are who you are to a person. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and exactly what is that? Like, if you even feel like you are, then I feel like your mentality is just completely off. Like, you're getting trapped back into that race thing and that whole thing like that. And it's like, that's not really what it is. And that's why I like.
Traitor, you would have to have.
Exactly.
Been on that tight time that they were on, and ideally we're supposed to have transitioned out of that. So for me to be able to be in this multicultural place and take in what, you know, the black community may have to offer, my Puerto Rican might have to offer, my white side might have to offer, like, this is helping us be a better person. Like, technically I wouldn't even be here because Puerto Ricans and whites wasn't mixing, like, you know, so.
And this is all just what it goes down to, and that's why I'm very, very strong on. We are just people. Like, people say that, but I am so strong on it because I've never really felt like I fit in anywhere. Like, I just was me. Like, so I'm just real strong on who you are as a person. Like, people, I don't care about your accent. I don't care what language. I don't care if we speak two different languages. We gonna find a way to communicate. If we cool, we gonna find a way to communicate and get it all figured out, bro. Like, it's just those type of challenges. And honestly, it's stuff like that helped me into the career I'm in today. I mean, everything's not all nice when I go places.
Right.
Like, honestly, the big reason why I wear a mask today is because a lot of places when I used to step in, I used to get looked at weird, like, who's this white boy with a camera? Until people heard what my name is, then everybody switching, and then it was just like, I saw how people were, how people already treated me. And then even when I was just, out with a celebrity in New York once, during a podcast, I was going in to get a picture, and the host was like, "Hey, yo, white boy, back up." It was a black culture podcast, but it was like just one of those things where it just took me back, and I was like, shit, I'm like, this was like 2 years ago. I'm like 25 years old. Like, come on, man.
And I guess, like, especially for me being black, I don't necessarily think of what it would be like for the next person to kind of experience the same things that we do. Because, like, the black community is a minority. You go in places, you're looked at differently. But for you to be the white boy in the black group, now you're kind of experiencing what we would do if it was vice versa. So do you think that helped you relate more to like the people you were around in your community?
It really helped me empathize and embrace it and understand a lot. For sure. It definitely did. Just all the experiences that I've had, and honestly that I've witnessed being around, the black community and stuff like that my entire life. Just literally the things I've seen and witnessed is like crazy. Right. Like it is those type of circumstances, and it was always played as a joke and stuff like that, but it was real stuff. Like in my group of friends, if we got approached by the cops, I was the one who was talking. Right. And I knew that. I knew that was my job in the group of my friends. You feel me? And it's just stuff like that you really got to sit there and look and pay attention and be like, there's a reason for this. There's a reason why nobody feels comfortable doing this. There's a reason why all this is happening. And when you really sit back and understand, you just start to really feel it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, and I can just tell just from even the start of this conversation that those early experiences definitely did mold you into, the person
it helped me be able to get into this industry and be able to handle the things that I handle, for sure.
Yeah, and probably at the time you didn't understand the benefit to it, but now that you're older, you can look back like, well, dang, I'm glad I kind of did go through that because they prepared me to be able to, take that on the chin when somebody did, might have called me a white boy. Before I might have reacted, like, who you calling a white boy? But now I'm just like, I see where you're coming from. Yeah, like I'm getting paid to be here, sir. Like
for sure.
Now, exactly. Do you come from a big family?
Well, I got 2 older sisters.
Okay.
And then I got a stepsister that's also older than me. I was all girls. Basically. Girls. I was raised around all girls, and then my mom. So, I have a big, overall
family?
Overall, yes, I have a huge family. Like, my Puerto Rican side is freaking huge. Like, and they're very active and stuff like that. So, it is cool. And, but really, no, I come from a very, a small family. Like, we're there for each other. It's like that type of support type thing.
Okay. And with you being the only boy and the youngest, how do you think, growing up in the house of women developed you into a man?
Oh, man. It's funny. It's so funny you asked that, because you have a lot of struggles growing up. Especially as you get older and you're transferring yourself into a man and stuff like that, and you're an adult and stuff, and you sit there and you're trying to figure out certain things and certain situations, and it's like sometimes you get stuck because you don't know how a man would handle it. You only know how your mom or your sister or somebody would handle it. And it's like sometimes that gets to you a little bit, but then it all just comes down to knowing who you are as a person. And it's just like all that stuff is just like that's just like little mental stuff that kind of gets to you. And it's like honestly, growing up with women helped me empathize towards women. Yeah. Like it helped me not want to be a jerk to women, especially as I grow up and get older and stuff like that. Like I don't want to be a jerk off. I want to be right. I want to be good. So I really feel like they helped me in that aspect for sure. Not be a jerk off.
Definitely, because I figure most times that ends up what happened, especially with a guy who was raised right around proper women and who they gave him a good example. They realized that okay, I see why. I probably shouldn't be that type of guy to women because if I go home and tell my mom, she's not going to be like, we didn't tell you that, we didn't raise you like that. Listen, where did that come from?
Yes. And I even had a girl ask me she's like, well, I'm surprised you're not gay. I'm like, well, I got uncles and stuff like that. Like, come on, just because I'm raised by all girls don't mean but no, it's just funny stuff like that, man.
I think sometimes it makes it. Of course, you want your father around and give you that aggression and like you said in the moments when you want to know how a man react, but sometimes having a woman in your life as a man makes you, like you said, gentle, makes you more aware of like everything, which helps you out because they say boys mature slower than girls. So if you can get that game early as a kid, which it seems like you did, it can benefit you in the long run. Now, do you see, like, now that you're older, do you see any similarities, like, that things that your mom may have said or, like, your sister may have said to you as a kid that you find yourself repeating now?
Oh, my gosh, all the time. That's awesome sauce. I said that about 2 times, 3 times during our conversation. That's something straight from my mom. Like, something straight from my mom. Awesome sauce. I probably say that. I say it at least 3 times, 4 or 5 times every single day.
But when the kid, she said, you're probably like, Mom, stop saying
listen,
that.
Like, yeah, but, man, that's just, like, the straight thing, the first thing, like comes out of my mouth. Like, I can't think of other stuff, but yeah, there are so many things that it's just like she catches me sometimes, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's yeah.
And I only asked that because I found myself now that I'm getting older. I said something the other day. I'm like, yo, wait, what? Like, am I my mom or what? I don't even have kids. Why is this happening to me?
Oh my
like,
goodness, yes.
It's too soon. It's too soon.
Yes.
Now, like we said, you are a product as well of Harrisburg School District. When you think back to your time in school, because I feel like you were in the district at a time where it was still like, it was transition, it was crazy, but there was a lot of activities, there was a lot of school pride going on. So when you think about those times now compared to the kids today, do you feel there's a difference in like what it means to be a Cougar?
Yes. Honestly, yeah, I do. Because nowadays, people transfer high schools for sports. It wasn't like that. Honestly, when I was in school, it wasn't like that. Like, the bull, Mika Parsons, when I heard he transferred, doing all that, I'm like, wait, people do that? Just, like, people transfer high schools for sports and doing stuff? Like, I thought, it's way beyond, it's more about the athlete themselves and going for their goals, and honestly you can't blame them for it. I mean, of course I always you would hope they hold that with Cougar pride, but I definitely don't think Cougar pride is the same as it used to be.
Say the games don't crack.
I definitely don't think Cougar pride is the same as it used to be.
The same.
Yeah.
And it kind of hurts me a little bit because I remember being a kid and couldn't wait to get up there. So I was like, yeah, I got my Cougar shirt. I'm part of the tribe. Like, we out here thugging. But I think the transition happened as, like, the pandemic happened. That was a major impact on schools. But I really feel like after 2013 is when it kind of, like, transitioned. And, they got better with sending kids to school, but the overall essence of what it was like to be a Cougar, I just felt like it was lost. Like,
I agree. I definitely agree. And that's just something, going off of, that I ran into somebody who was a band booster. Man, she was there before her son was in. She was there after her son was there, and I just ran into her recently saying that she just quit because, the students ain't the same, they don't take it as serious. It's not serious to them. It's all just a joke. It's all just a game. And then when you try to, instill that seriousness into them, they just want to fight.
Fight, yeah.
And it's just, and she was like, I'm getting too old for this. And I'm like, man, it is crazy when you have somebody who has a passion for what they do and loves to help these kids. But the kids are the ones that is like, nah, get out of here. It's wild.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm disappointed at in the community because I don't know why it transitioned so quickly and so abrupt. Like, it's like nobody wants to take pride in being in the school activities because, like you said, you were a member of the band. You also played for the baseball team. For you played the drums, correct?
Yeah.
Were you a member of the band every year or?
Yeah, so I actually joined the band when I was in 8th grade.
Oh, okay.
So I actually joined the band when I was in 8th grade because Troutman, the band director, he was teaching me how to play drums since I was in like the 6th grade.
Okay.
So by the time I got to like 8th grade, I had the high school people teaching me, the stuff, the cadences, and everything like that. Basically prepping me for what drum I was going to be on. But all that stuff. Sorry, what was the question?
I was leading into kind of figure out what was it like for you to be on the drum line, because that's major. Like,
man, it was awesome. It taught me so much freaking discipline that is not there today. Oh my goodness. The drumline taught me so much freaking discipline. Like, it was so disciplined back then. Like, seriously. You know when you got sweat, you standing there still and you got sweat dripping down your face and it starts to itch. Oh my gosh, it itches so bad. If you would have went to go scratch your face, you was running with your drum on. You feel me? Like, it was none of that. They wasn't playing nothing. Like, it was none of it. If they walked by and they grabbed your stick out your hand, they was throwing it somewhere and you had to go find it, and you better go find it in a certain amount of time or you was running. Like, it was discipline. Like, it was straight discipline. And yeah, some of it was like, all right, yeah, y'all just playing around, but they do teach you stuff like to be serious about what you're doing. Take your stuff, be prideful about what you're doing. Like, take what you're doing. Like, whatever you're doing, what's the point of half-assing it? Go in.
And kill it. Can you still play?
Oh my goodness. Not like I know. Not like I used to. It's so funny. I try so. Oh my gosh, I tried so hard. No, I can't. I picked up the sticks. I picked up some sticks, I think, a few weeks ago, and I went to go try and do some doubles and stuff, and it was so choppy. I was like, I just put it down. I was like, no.
Because you would think it's like one of them skills, like, even though you don't necessarily use it all the time, how could I lose it? Like, I know how to use my arm. Like, what happened?
Right. Oh my gosh.
Muscle memory then went all out the window.
Man, yeah.
Now, what position did you play on the baseball team?
So I played shortstop and third base from most of the time. Yeah, that was fun. We was poop, but
I say the baseball team wasn't good, but
and that's the thing that also used to frustrate me too, is because I played Mo-Self Little League. Mo-Self went hard, man. In my day, at least, you know, when I played for the Senators and
they had a reputation.
Man, like it was intense. Like, people played serious. Like, people was hard. The All-Star teams went far. Like, All-Star teams and that went far. I played in Williamsport. You feel me? Like, me and the Senators, we went and played in Williamsport. Like, we was good. But then when we got to high school, it was like nobody wanted to play baseball no more because Harrisburg sucked. Yeah. But it's like if everybody went and came out and played, we wouldn't have sucked. Yeah. But then it's also a thing that also, I think back, and it's like, it was weird. We had just no discipline as a team. Everybody was good as their own player. It's wild. Like, you think about the people that we had, like Sean Harrison, he was always a great player. Ray Burnett was a great player. Trent, Rob Chase. Like, there was a whole bunch of people who were really good at their positions and what they did. But as a team and discipline, it wasn't there, and which is why we was poop.
And do you think that's because of the coaching, or more so just the area, the mentality of just Harrisburg?
I think it goes down to the coaching, because I seriously had arguments with coaches for saying that we suck. And it's like, what you mean? Like, what is you doing? Like, I literally had a whole argument with a coach like that, and he bumped me down at JV for a week.
Oh, damn.
Because of that argument, and it was definitely the coaching. It was definitely the coaching. And by the time I got to my senior year, I mean, bless his heart, Coach Dwight did everything he did, but he wasn't even in a position to communicate English to college, scouts for me. And it was that type of difficulty for the baseball community that, it was hard. And I didn't have that baseball field they got now.
Yeah, I would say that's
I slid on hard dirt. If we slid, we had dust burns at the top.
It's like, that field was that field did not look like that. The girls' softball field was better than y'all.
Oh yeah.
Y'all couldn't even have home runs because y'all didn't have a fence.
I remember one time Sean Harrison, he played center field. And he was running his ass off, and he caught a ball, and that hill that goes, he didn't see that hill, and he fell right down that hill. Oh my gosh. It was a great play, but everybody was so worried, because it was like he was running and he just like disappeared.
It's like, yo, did he die?
Yeah, it was seriously like that, yep.
So you obviously, because the team wasn't good, you would say you continued to play out of the love for the sport?
Oh yeah, for sure. Baseball was always fun to me. It helped me get out of it was just fun. Get your air, out in the fresh air, get your body moving, And once you get into a flow of things, you just stop thinking about everything else. It was just one of those things for me.
Are you still in touch with any of your teammates?
No. I'm not. Unfortunately, No.
I mean,
Nope.
this happened, especially in high school. Like, what was it, probably like 10 years ago now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
mind blowing. Now, what about you as a student? I know for high school you attended SciTech, which is the district STEM school. What made you decide to go there?
Because if I didn't go there, I wasn't able to be in Harrisburg no more. My mom wasn't going to let me to go to Harrisburg High. She didn't want me to go there. She didn't think the teachers took the education seriously enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I was an intelligent kid. Like, I still feel like I am very intelligent. And I did have very high grades, and my mom didn't want that to go down the drain. So yeah, if I didn't make it into SciTech, I was getting sent to like East. I was gonna go to East or something like that. But for sure, I wanted to go to SciTech too. I mean, I went to Marshall Elementary School, and honestly, most of my friends there went to SciTech as well. And it was like, honestly, once I got out of SciTech, I just went right over to the high. So it was like I just went back and saw everybody else that I went to school with. So
it wasn't too big of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if you would have went to East, it would have been like you would have been happy about that, or?
I think at the time, yes, but now, no. Now, no. Yeah, I think I would be a completely different person now. I would be a completely different person now. I don't even feel like I would have the mindset that I have now, and I don't think I would have gone through the things I went through. I don't think I would be here. I would feel like I would be in a worse situation.
Did you learn a lot from that school? Like, do you feel it was a valuable
Oh my gosh, yeah.
place to be?
Oh yeah, I always say like, SciTech, I did not have a high school experience, but it prepared me for college. Oh my gosh, did it prepare me for college? Like, I was ready. There was, and I really noticed that when I went into college and went into classes and stuff and seeing how confused other people were about things, simple things that, we was kind of learning in ninth grade.
Mm-hmm.
I was literally, that's when I was like in the mind blowing moment of how much SciTech really does prepare you for college. No, not life. Yes, college.
Mm-hmm. Because, when you were freshmen coming in with 90-minute classes, 4 classes a day, you're like, yo, what is we doing? But then when you get to college, and you're like, oh, this is nothing. I've been doing this for 4 years.
And then you switch classes. You got different classes between your winter semester and your, most high schools don't break down semesters. They got the same classes all year long.
I'm going to say, because obviously I went there too. So it was definitely, I feel like, probably one of the best decisions I made as far as education and just being able to be in an environment where we're still with our city people, our kids, but now we're with a group of people who aren't ashamed to show that they're smart, who are actually striving toward, pushing something. Because when you're around that environment, you don't want to be the one person who's the outlier. Like, it wasn't cool to not be on your shit in there. So I think it definitely, like you said, helped put us in that right path to go to school and to be prepared for what it was going to bring towards us.
Yeah, and I went to SciTech. Not everybody was from Harrisburg when I went to SciTech. It wasn't a Harrisburg. I think I was the last year where SciTech was separated from Harrisburg School District.
Mm-hmm.
We were more connected to the university.
Okay. See, I didn't even know that before.
Yeah, we were more connected to the university. Like, do they still give full scholarships to the university?
I'm not sure, but I wish I would have took advantage of that shit.
Yeah, because I remember they did that. Like, we were more connected to the university and stuff like that. And we had a lot of people that weren't even from the Harrisburg School District. Mm-hmm. And that was awesome too, because it was different cultures again. Honestly, I mean, from Harrisburg, everything is hip hop.
Yeah.
We had some rockers in there, and like straight with the long hair, with everything like that, straight rockers, and it was like, it was cool. It was different.
Mm-hmm.
It was different.
And I'm gonna say, and also, like, I remember it just was like SciTech for me. I got to experience like a lot of the Asian culture because that's where I met a lot of their friends. They bring in the food. I'm like, wait, hold up, y'all make this? All right, can we come over this weekend? It was a lot. It was a big melting pot, and people were so like open to sharing their experiences and where they come from. And the school definitely did a good job with like promoting like them little food days where I bring something from your culture. We all love food, so it's like
yes. Like I loved like Harlem Nights.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I loved projects like that. And there was also the thing that I loved about SciTech. It was like everybody had cliques. Like, you find your group of friends and stuff like that. But I don't really feel like there was bullying. Like there's like bullying really don't exist in SciTech for real. Like everybody got
like they had a personal problem with
exactly. Like it was something between right there. But there wasn't just a bully in school like that. It was just
after you left out of Sci Tech is when you went to Millersville University. Was that your first choice?
I was actually between a few different places. I was in between Shippensburg, Millersville, and Penn State.
Okay. And why did you choose Millersville?
I think ultimately it came down to the best decision financially. When it came down to my final two choices, it was Millersville or Penn State. Penn State was offering, a little bit of money for baseball, but it wasn't, keeping up with anything. And I just knew financially everything was just going to be a lot easier if I went to Millersville, and it was still a great school. I mean, it's like one of the top schools in Pennsylvania. So yeah, it just basically came down to that. We would be more financially responsible, really.
Which is something major that I don't think I took into consideration when going to school. Because when I got to school, I started realizing, oh, snap, I need some money.
Books ain't cheap.
I thought that was the biggest scam of the century. What do you mean I just paid tuition, I got to buy the books for the class?
And then you're going to do it. I got to sell them back for what, $10?
$10?
Like, come on, no, get out of here.
It's a scam.
Yeah.
What was your major there?
It changed a lot. It changed a lot because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know who I wanted to be. I didn't know. I didn't know anything. That's why I really liked college because I really feel like it was that safety net for me to find myself. But I started off as accounting. I was an accounting major, and then I went to psychology.
Okay. You put in all the hard ones.
yeah. I went into accounting because I was good at math. I mean, that was my strong suit. But then I was like, okay, no, this ain't math. No, this ain't math no more. Like, this is different type of stuff going on right here. So I was like, no, I'm good. Then I went into psychology, and it was like, it's all cool and everything. But I got too many problems with myself going on. Then I went undecided because I really just had no idea what I wanted to do, and I was talking to a mentor there, and that's what he offered. He was like, just go undecided, just figure it out. And then after that, I went into broadcast communications. That's when I found the camera. That's when I started getting into like a whole bunch of different stuff like theater. I had a radio station. I was on like Millersville News and doing stuff like that, and that's when I really like found the camera.
And was there a moment that triggered you to like maybe I should try broadcasting, or it was just like another choice to see like let's see if this is something that I would?
So it actually all went back to my freshman year. I gave a speech in my introductory to speech class, and it was it was about immigration, and it was about just basically immigration officers and stuff like that, going in and taking people from their homes and stuff and stuff like that, and it was a very impactful speech, and it really hit a lot of people in the audience, and even the professor years later was like, this speech is like the one I give out as like an outline to my students and stuff like that. And when I was in my undecided moments, I was really just sitting back on my moments in college, like what have I done, or what did I spend, like where was I feeling my most comfortable at? And I reflected back to that speech, and I was like, I felt so comfortable just being able to, I'm comfortable talking to people. I'm able to just do this. It's easy for me. And ever since then, and then when you go into communications, you got three options. You got, basic communications, public relations, and broadcasting. Public relations, I'm good with that. That's marketing, and there's a whole bunch of laws with that. I'm good. Comm studies is too general for me, and then so I just chose broadcasting. Yeah.
And when you chose broadcasting and you started that, do you feel like you said, like that's when you found that okay, this is what I want to do? Like, was that immediate or? No. Honestly, no. Even like right before I was about to graduate college, right before my last semester, I had no idea who I wanted to be. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I felt like I wasted my whole time at college. I felt like I wasted 4 years of my life, and I felt like most of the people who said that I wasn't going to make it was right. And it got to me. So there was like one night I was struggling. I'm not even going to lie. I was in my car and I was crying my eyes out because I just felt like I didn't know what I was doing. And in that moment I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
I'm buying my own camera. Because I felt like I wasn't prepared. I did a whole bunch of things. I did the news. I did the radio station. I did an internship as a director in theater. I did acting, but I was not prepared to go into a job and do anything. Like when I went into communications, I just tried everything. I didn't master anything.
Nothing.
I wasn't prepared to go into a job, which is what the college prepared you for. Was to go into those jobs and go get a job. So like right before my last semester, I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna buy a camera, and I'm just gonna figure it out. My last semester, I set myself up with entrepreneur classes, learning business, learning how to make business plans, and doing stuff like that. And ever since then, it was just figuring out how I was gonna tell my mom I wasn't gonna apply for a job when I graduated.
Yeah, I was gonna say because in 2015, when you did graduate, I seen that you posted that you promised yourself you would never work for a job or apply for a job, and the scariest part was telling your mom. So, when you told her, what was her response?
My mom is a very supportive person. My mom is the type of person that will believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself. So she always supported me. She never wanted to show it or never even probably meant it, but she never meant to show doubt. I knew it was there in the beginning. You know, she would always be like, oh man, you should apply for a state job.
Yeah,
oh, I know you would get a state job. You know, it's safe, it's easy, da 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 da. And I'll just be like, no, I'm good. I was a server at the time. I was a waiter at Denny's. I was making decent money there. I was super flexible. I was able to do whatever I wanted, kind of. And I started there, I worked nights. I worked overnight. So I was able to, during the day, to do whatever I wanted. And that's just kind of how it all started off. And yeah, I mean, that's how it was. It was just that moment. It all came in that moment of desperate, rock bottom moment of feeling like I didn't know what I was going to do. And then it just all came in that fuck it.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like that's a major decision to come to after you said you just spent time, money trying to figure out what you're gonna do. You kind of find the broadcasting link, but like you said, you weren't prepared to go into the job field. But you know, school's ending, so like, well, you kind of explained that already, but I'm just want to know like, when you made that decision personally, did you believe in yourself enough to know like that you didn't have to go that route, or it was just one of the things you were just going to try to see if it stuck to the wall?
I never made a plan B.
Honestly,
I never made a plan B. I never gave myself a second option. I never seen myself going to go work into an office, so I knew it wasn't there for me. If I'm going to be completely honest, my fiance believed in me enough for the both of us for a long time. For a long time. And
where'd you meet her at?
I met her while I was in school, but she's from here. She's from Harrisburg. Yeah, she graduated from Harrisburg in 2011. But yeah, she was there for me in all them times where I just didn't know.
And how long have you guys been together?
7 years.
7 years. Okay, so
7 years. So
about 2015, like after you graduated.
Yeah. She was there. We met my second to last semester. So she was there that summer before, because I graduated winter 2015, and we met on the summer semester, and yeah, through the summer is when it came up, and I was just like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And then when I came up with the decision, she was just there. She was just go for it. She knew I was gonna be able to do it.
And how grateful are you to her now that you think about that? Like, if you think she was like, nah, you need to get a job. I'm not really trying to be with a dude who ain't really about to be doing nothing. We just went through school. Do you think that would have kind of changed where you would have went?
Oh my gosh, for sure. For sure. That probably would have changed where me and her. Like, we probably wouldn't even be together. I don't know. Because, I mean, when I first graduated, I didn't even want to be in Harrisburg anymore. Like, I didn't even want to be around. I wanted to move. I wanted to go to Florida. I wanted to move somewhere else. I just wanted to be out. I just wanted to be out. But then I just started to build and build and build. But her support was just... Honestly, if she didn't give me the support that she did, I definitely wouldn't be here. I definitely wouldn't be here. It's so much, and honestly, it's the reason why I work so fucking hard the way I do now. The reason why I can stay awake for more than 24 hours at a time, just going in on what I need to do, because she believed in me that much. Like, she believed in me that much. Like, she deserves it. Like, she freaking deserves it. She believed in me literally when I had nothing. Like, literally when I had nothing. Like, I say I had nothing, like, I literally mean I had nothing. Not even a license. Like, I had nothing. Like, I had nothing. And she was there for me. Like, when I tell y'all and I express nothing, I mean I had nothing.
No, I understand. And even though, like I said, I just met her today, but from hearing your stories, I feel like she kind of falls in line with the women in your life, as far as your mom and your sisters, and the value that they instilled in you and the love that they gave you. You kind of found that in your partner, which is kind of dope when you think about it, because you guys were young, but for her to be there to support you and to give you that motivation, and then your mom also on top of that supporting you. I think like women kind of have played a major role in
those two that you just mentioned right there are literally my biggest motivation, inspiration. Like, those two, like, honestly, recently I've just been saying motivation is overrated. It's all about dedication. But literally, they are the reasons why I want to be so dedicated.
Like, you look at like what they've done for you.
I have to make it. I have to. Like, I just can't stop now. I just can't fail. Like, that's not an option.
No, I definitely.
They deserve to see this all happen, and I want to see my mom retire. I'm trying to retire with my mom in a couple of years. I want to retire her parents in the same amount of time. Like, I want us to be chilling. Like, it's just so much stuff that they deserve.
Is the way she supported you what made you love her so much?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh my stars, yeah. Oh my stars, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Because her love is just unconditional. It's seriously unconditional. She's there. Like, she's one of those type people, like, even if we're sitting there arguing, we're not going to leave the room. Right. Like we still going to be here. Like, we're not just going to dip apart and be apart and stuff like that. And I'm going to be real, that's the type of stuff that I needed. Like, that was seriously the stuff that I needed.
She spoke to you in your love language, essentially.
My gosh, yeah, for sure.
And how did that make you feel as a man? Because you already said your parent, like, the women in your life made you feel like you couldn't be a fuckboy. But when you finally met a woman who you feel like you deserve to put on that pedestal, do you think, like, were you intimidated at all by the challenge? Were you excited to step up to it?
She still makes me nervous. She still makes me nervous to this day. You know, she still makes me nervous. She still gives me goosebumps. And hell yeah, I'm nervous. Hell yeah,
That's
I'm
good,
nervous.
Though.
Hell yeah, I'm nervous just because I care so much. I'm a very emotional person. I'm a super emotional person. I've embraced it. I've embraced who I am. I am who I am. It don't make me less of anything. I'm a super emotional person. And when somebody shows me that type of love and care, I go 1,000 times harder. I will give you all.
Definitely. No, I just like to talk about love because I feel like it's so beautiful.
Oh,
and then
man,
to hear
for
God
sure.
express about how much you love a girl, you're like, yeah, go ahead, keep talking about it. Get you some cool
No,
points.
for sure. It's super important. It's super important. The people around you and the people that inspire you and support you are super important in your life. Like, your partner, the one that you're going to have next to you, like, that's the person you walk into life with. Like, that's the person, that's the person you want to walk through hell with, not go through all the good stuff with. I want to go through the bad stuff with you. I don't want to be, like, you're the person who I can go through the bad shit with. I can't do that with everybody.
Because that's the most important, because like you said, things could be good and everybody's happy, but when it goes left and we're down bad, can I still depend on you to be that same person to me? So I'm happy for you guys.
Oh, man, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Love is love.
Oh,
but, now doubling back to your journey, you said you bought the camera after graduation in 2015, and then the earliest work I came across was, I think, back in 2016 when you were working as Luie Viisuals.
Oh my stars, man! Holy cow!
Yeah, which was a venture with you and a friend, Damien. So how did that come about?
Wowzers. And it was funny, before coming in, I was like, I wonder if she did, like, research and stuff like that. But man, that's deep research right there. Yeah, that's deep research. So when I first started and I bought a camera and I was going, basically, it was just kind of one of those things, especially when I was in high school and stuff. I was a class clown. I was legit labeled a class clown in high school. Like, I wasn't taken seriously. I was not the boy to be taken seriously. But after I graduated, I knew I needed to be taken seriously. And I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew somebody who was already kind of doing it, but just wasn't doing it for real, for real. Damian Rexroth, who still is an amazing graphic designer. He was, I mean, when I started with him, he's an amazing graphic designer, and was a great video editor at the time. I don't really know what his skills are like nowadays and stuff, but yeah, that's how we started off, and it was Luie Viisuals, Damian and Luie. We were going off, but he ended up moving to Arizona, and that's when I had to keep things going, and yeah, that's just kind of where D&L just kind of had to change into the visuals, and he's actually the one who originally came up with the double I and visuals BII. Mm-hmm. He was the one who originally came up with that.
Okay, that's a nice little backstory, because the few things that I did come across, they weren't active anymore. Mm-hmm. Was there a reason for that?
Two reasons. One, it didn't represent my level of work anymore, and also wasn't the business that I was representing anymore. Mm-hmm. So two things that didn't represent me anymore. I was like, well, let's just get rid of it. I mean, the style doesn't represent me, and the name doesn't represent me. So, I mean,
no point in having it out there.
Yeah.
When you think about those videos you did at that time, what comes to mind?
Oh my God, I was gonna lie to you. I was gonna lie to you and say the music video I did with Vaughn, with Vaughn. But I gotta tell you the truth, and it's something that you'll probably never find, hopefully. But my first ever music video was one I had to do with myself. Mm-hmm. And it was me and Damien. We had at the time, it was the Uber freestyle that was so popular.
We gotta find that.
Oh man, and so we made a freestyle to it, and we did a video.
I'm crying.
And we did a video to it. It was on the roof of his house. But that was the start of me being able to get video jobs, because I was legit hitting people up, offering to do free stuff and getting left on red.
Right.
So it was like, I gotta get started somehow. Oh Jesus, I gotta write a song. I'm a rapper, but no.
No. We gotta get that at the 25-year anniversary. You gotta put that out.
The 25-year anniversary? Okay, for sure. I'll be able to do that. I'll be able to do that. Okay.
So then after he moved to Arizona, it transitioned to just the Luie Viisuals. Do you remember your first solo project that you had?
Yes, it was a very, very long day. So when I was doing something with this clothing line called Benny Empire, and we just had a very long photo shoot. It was it was just a very long day photo shoot. But honestly, after that, my girl's been with me. I did that shoot by myself. But ever since then, I feel like she's been with me. I haven't really been. She kind of took in that place, and whenever I need help on, she's here taking pictures right now. She's the person.
Was she had an interest in the camera before? She was like, "You need help, babe? I'm here for you." Like,
I don't even think it was that. It was like, I need help here. It wasn't even like her offering help. It was like, hey, babe, I need help. I need you to take a picture. Right. I mean, you're here. Can you just take the pictures? You feel me? And that's another huge reason why I'm just so grateful, because she got into things that I don't even think she really wanted to do. And
because you were.
Yeah, she was just interested because it was something that she saw that I loved it, and she saw I had a passion for it. She just always wants to be a part of. She just always wants me to grow. Like, I really, truly, I know she wants me to grow, and it's just she's just there.
She's just there in every way possible. That's dope. Now, we all make mistakes when we're first starting out. So what were some of the main ones that you were making when you first started recording, or just starting with projects, period?
Letting clients be late and I'm just sitting there waiting. I think was the biggest thing. There'd be time, man, there was a time I was literally sitting there for like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, while the bulls keep saying like, oh yeah, I'm right around the corner, And that all, and it was just until one day I was out on a set, and there were a whole bunch of other artists there, and the one girl was late. She kept saying it, and I was like, I gotta set an example, and I left. I left, and it always happens like this. You leave, you could be waiting for however long, but as soon as you leave, they get there, and it's like we turn the corner, we get around, and you know, she gets on the phone, she starts cussing me out, one. And I'm like, well, you haven't even put a deposit down, and you talking about this and that, like, what do you mean? And I wasn't taking deposits at the time, which was, you know, I mean, yeah, it's understandable, but, you know, it's like, okay. But, yeah, I was like, whoa, I mean, one, if you would have hit me and be like, hey, man, I'm sorry, did I keep coming back? All right, we probably would have turned around and made it back, but you came out snapping, like, what the, stuff like that. I'm like, okay, no, yeah, click, we're good. No, we're good. And I just had to set that example, and now it don't really happen so much.
Okay. And what about on the actual working side? Like, you kind of had schooling, so did you ever have a point where, like, you might have shot it in the wrong frame rate? Or?
Oh, I was self-taught. I'm gonna be completely honest. I was self-taught. Even like I said, when I went into school, we rarely did editing. I rarely did anything, any type of editing. I'm gonna be real. I probably had one editing class, and I probably cheated through that. I'm gonna be 100%. I'm gonna be 100% honest. But I was self-taught, and heck yeah, I shot in the wrong format. There are times where, you know, I try to slow down a 24 frame clip, and you can see those in some of my earlier videos with Fetro, CGE
I was
Fetro.
gonna mention that, and now that I know it, that because I made the mistakes, I'm like, oh, he shot that at the wrong rate. That's why it's jittery like that.
Literally, he was the one who helped me get started with music videos and doing stuff like that. He was one of the first people. And he was the one who helped me get through and make all my mistakes for real. And yeah.
And how did you learn from those mistakes? Like when you went to sit down and edit and you wanted to slow it down, but you realized it's not slowing down like it was supposed to. Did you like use YouTube a lot, or you research through books, or? So
with that particular instance, I had two people reach out to me when they seen it, and it was first one was Marpo. He was like, yo, shoot in 60 and then do your settings and do your timeline in 24. And then Queso hit me and said the same thing. And Queso was the one who actually helped me get started with actually doing videos, because I was just a photographer at first.
Oh, okay. I thought you were a videographer.
I was when I graduated in 2015. I was only taking pictures. I was just taking strictly pictures, and that was it. I was getting contacted for doing a lot of music videos, but I didn't do a music video until early 2018. Ooh, so like 3 years in is when I started doing music videos.
Okay, so that kind of helps me transition to the next part. Because like I said, I thought you did videography first and then photography came along. So did you have a signature style, or it was still developing with both the photography and?
Oh, it was definitely developing. I was definitely developing. I mean, I knew what I was going for. I knew what I wanted, and I knew like when you take a picture, you kind of see how you want it to look. But you have to gain the knowledge to actually get it to get there, and when you post it in a picture, or when you go to edit and stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of like I knew who I always wanted to like. Yeah, because I always used to follow this photographer shop by Spencer. Oh my gosh, he was my favorite. Like my favorite. And he was at the time Kevin Gates. Full-time photographer. Okay. Now he works with PRE. He did like Young Dolphin and everything, and now he's on tour with Key Glock.
Key Glock, okay.
But yeah, when I seen his work when I first started, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is freaking amazing. Like I freaking love it. Like I love the tones he gave. I love everything like that, and that's like kind of who I tried to. That's honestly who I wanted to try and be. Like I used to look at his stuff every single day. Like it was part of like my daily schedule, like to look at his page, like, and it was just something like that. And it's just, that helped me a lot too. Like, but just keep going forward, and it helped me kind of know where I wanted to get. It was like that vision, because you know some people always they want to get somewhere, but they can't see it. And it's like that's something like, okay, so I can kind of see it.
It's like, yeah, giving you that end of the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, yeah. I can go there. Like, not to say be exactly like him, but take a little bit of his style and make it your own.
Exactly. I can see that route, but then find myself within that route.
Take my own path.
Exactly.
Definitely think that's dope. Now, in 2018, you were invited by Queso, the director, to do some behind-the-scenes work. When that opportunity came about, how did it make you feel?
Oh my gosh, I was so like I was giddy. Like I was giddy. Like I was like a fanboy. Like I was literally like a fanboy. And at that time, the instance you're talking about right now is when I had no knowledge of doing video. I gained my knowledge on that day you're talking about right there. It was a video shoot with Pigeon. I went out there and I was taking a whole bunch of pictures. Honestly, I was working at that time with a Canon T6i, and he had a different type of Canon, and he was like, "Yo, just use mine," because it was a higher grade one, but I knew I had the lenses and stuff. He's like, "Here, just use mine." I'm like, "All right, cool, shoot, all right, fine." And he just gave me his camera, and I was just working it, and I was just doing it, and as I was sitting there watching him set up some stuff, I just asked him questions. And I'm going to be real, he only gave me 3 answers. And those 3 answers took me the rest of the way.
What were those answers?
To shoot in a flat profile.
Okay.
He taught me about S-Log. He taught me about my frame rates, making sure that your frame rates is to slow down and everything like that. And then he also taught me your shutter speed connected to your frame rate. Your shutter speed has to be double your frame rate, or else you're going to get sloppy footage. He taught me those 3 things, and from there I was able to just go.
And honestly, now that I learned those 3 things, I feel like if I'd have knew those 3 things starting out, I wouldn't have had so much like troubles and trials and tribulations. So to be able to get that type of game from somebody who's been doing it, who's kind of has built his respect already. Like, did you at first, when he first mentioned it, just those 3 things, you're like, oh, he's kind of like shortchanging me, or do you like, oh, that's the only thing I needed to know in order to go and get started?
I've always been you give me an inch, I'm gonna go a mile.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna take what I can get, because I mean, if not, I'm gonna always just figure it out. I've always been, and my mom even said this, and I've always prided myself on it. Was my mom told me once, she was like, if anything, no matter the deadline, I know Luie will get anything figured out, and I super pride myself on that. And it's just like, if he wouldn't have helped me, I would have figured it out eventually, but he did. He was there. He was honestly the only one to help me, because at the time, I was hitting people. I was hitting artists, and I was hitting photographers up. Yo, let's go out and shoot. Let's go shoot. I wasn't getting, nobody wanted to mess with me. Nobody. There was even a time where somebody came up to me, and it was like they had a big collaboration gathering, and he was looking around. He was like, oh. He asked, like, where's Luie at? And they was like, oh, we're not inviting him. And he legit told me this conversation. I'm like, well, dang, I wasn't even in my full year yet.
Do nothing
like,
yet.
I literally don't even talk to nobody. Like, I just stayed to myself.
They were just probably intimidated by it.
And I just feel like that's what it was, because I did come in, like, and a lot of people told me this. I came in, and it was like, well, where did he just come from? And it was, I look back now, and I see I did put a lot of people out of business.
But that's not your fault.
It's not. No, it's not.
Because one thing I appreciate that you've done for the video culture is you make people have to step up. In addition to Queso and them, but for people who like just starting out, for you to come out and be able to produce that, for people who've been doing it for 5 years and been getting charged $500-$600, like, wait, and he did that? Oh no, we can't do that. And for somebody who's not willing to invest in their craft, like you said, it's going to make them fade out, it's going to make them dwindle out. But for somebody who's motivated by that, I'm like, oh snap, I got to step my game up.
And that's just like you said. The thing, and that's why I appreciate, and that's why one thing, I'll always be there for Queso. One, because he helped me when nobody else would, and 2, because he tells me, dude, you step my game up. He goes, legit, you're the reason why I color. You're the reason why I do this.
Coloring until I saw you start doing that, and it was an immediate difference when I looked at your video. Like, why his video look like that? Like, what did he do different that's so different from this one?
Because before I started, I did my research on who was shooting. I looked at the time, it was the 3 main hitters was Supa,
Mike Morales,
I wasn't even watching him. It was TJ the director who was
TJ,
taking over Harrisburg for him.
TJ.
He was everywhere.
Yeah, TJ.
And Queso.
Yeah.
Mike Morales at the time was still in York for real. Like, he was still just out there in York. Like, when I got started doing photography and everything, he started coming more into Harrisburg and doing stuff like that. But I watched all of their videos, and there was two things that I saw that I could come in and attack. And it was coloring, and it was storytelling. Nobody was storytelling in their music videos. It was just performance. And there was barely even B-roll. And I came in and I was like, that's what's needed.
And no, it definitely, like I said, like when you started dropping your videos, I'm like, wait a minute, what is the difference between this and everybody else's? Like, why do I want to keep looking at his video? And then I realized, like, you were coloring, like, you were doing so many little things. I'm like, I never even knew that was a part of the process. Like,
and that's a whole individual process.
Trust me, I be trying to do it myself. I'm like, listen, I don't know what, I need to go take a class because YouTube ain't helping me.
It really is. It's harder than than people think. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy because you got two cameras going right now. When you go into you go into color these, yeah, you got the same setup, but these could come out looking like two completely different shots. And the coloring could come out like it could be a real hassle.
No, trust me, I definitely understand, especially dealing with the also different software you might use to have to color, or you doing it in Premiere, you doing it in DaVinci. It is so much.
I color in DaVinci. I
haven't transferred to that yet. I'm still trying to master, or not even master, understand the concept of coloring before I start downloading all this other stuff.
I'll get you. I'll for sure get you on that.
But
it took, honestly, just with that, it took me a while to get the workflow going in between all the programs, you know. So that'll also slow you down.
So you do use multiple programs to fine tune every part of the project.
I'll probably use about 4 or 5 programs.
Okay, dang, yeah.
Just depending on what I'm doing.
What you're doing. Before we go into too much detail about your style, I just wanted to kind of wrap up on the Queso topic. What has been the biggest benefit to you with locking in with him?
Honestly, man, just all the knowledge. Like, honestly, all the knowledge. Like, seriously, if it's not from him, he is not the type of person to shy away from sharing opportunities. He's not. Like, if he fucks with you and you show that you're genuine to him, he will open doors. He will open doors for you. And that's one thing I can for sure say that he has done for me was he helped open a lot of doors for me. And he helped me gain so much knowledge. Like, even knowledge that he's probably don't even know that I've gained, but just by sitting there and being able to watch, like...
Just be in the mix.
Literally, like, him inviting me, like, out on all these sets. Like, when he first started, we wasn't working together, you know? He was working with other people. He was steadily working with other people. But he chose to bring me onto these opportunities and stuff like that. And that's just one thing I'll always be appreciative of because he did not have to do that. He did not have to do it. He didn't know who I was as a person. He didn't know if I would just take it, be out, do whatever, and, you know, that's it. But that's just something I just always greatly appreciate. He did something that most people will not do.
No, that's definitely true. Do you have a favorite project that you guys worked on?
I would say my favorite project that we've worked on together. Trying to be completely honest, the one I've had the most fun on that we worked out together was, I think it was a 2007 or 2008 high school reunion. Harrisburg High School reunion. We worked on that together. It wasn't a music video production. It wasn't none of that stuff. But we had so much fun. Like, we had so much fun that day. We was just laughing and cracking up the whole day, catching moments and stuff. It was very free. And, you know, that's at the time when I was still kind of only doing photography as well, you know. It was awesome. That was a very fun time.
It's always best the times when you're having fun while working, because when you look back, like, yeah, we was working, got paid, but it was a great day, right?
Yeah, but one thing, like, with Queso is we work well together because we argue.
You're not just two just looking to yes men each other like.
No, we don't. We're not yes men. We are two completely different creatives, and it comes down to it when we're going into all this stuff, you can see it, and we do get into arguments, but that's something that I always appreciate about him. It don't go nowhere, but we still at the end of that argument,
us being creative, like what
at the end of the day, we still after that argument, it's like, all right, let's get the rest of the day done. You feel me? We still got the same goals. We still got the same thing going on. Like ain't nothing broken. We good. We going.
Respect that. A question I did have is, does your approach vary when you're doing a photo shoot or you're doing a video, or do you kind of have the same thought process of like, all right, this is the concept that I want to hit. This is how I'm going to do it.
Well, yeah, it does change between photo shoots and video shoots, just off of the level of how much I gotta think about it. Photo shoots, I don't really gotta think too much. I just kind of look at the person. So say you're the model, okay? You're the model. What type of clothes you gonna be wearing? I would see you probably just, if I'm talking about you, it would be more street style, something like that, And then I'll be like, okay, so what am I gonna do with that style? I would do this with it. And then it's just kind of like, okay, boom, once we get there. And then honestly, once you really think about it, everything is 3 angles. Wide, medium, close. Within those angles, you got infinite angles. You got the wide, but you can go all around. You can go up, you can go down. Once you're medium, do the same thing. You feel me? Close, around, same thing. And that's what I just do.
Like
I'm just sitting there and I'm finding my spot. I'm just finding. With video, I kind of got to know where I'm going to be. Because with photos, I'm like, okay.
With the video, it's like...
With video, it's like, all right, no, yeah, we're going to work at this angle. All right, so by the time they get here, we got to be here with it. And then once we get here, the camera's going to be here. We need this light up here, right here. And then we're going to have to make sure, okay, so if he's moving from here to here, we can't show the light in this shot, so we got to get this light moving over here, but we got to keep the light right on him with this. So it's just, it's a whole lot of thinking. And with me doing it by myself, it's literally me talking to myself a whole lot of the time. Like, people will see me on set, and I'm just like... And that's just me scratching stuff off my to-do list, because it's like, I got so much stuff going on, it's just, yeah.
Would you say they're 2 completely different skill sets?
For sure. Oh, yeah. Because once it comes down to the shooting, all the way down into editing, it's completely different. Coloring a photo is completely different than coloring a video, and I learned that really fast. When I first started coloring, oh my gosh, I tried to color it like it was a picture. No, that's not how it is. Yeah, it's very different, very different.
Okay. Now, like we were saying earlier, another key element to your brand and your work is your editing style for both the photos and videos. So when you linked with Queso and he gave you that game, and then you said you went and looked at all the other directors to see, what they were offering, what year was that? Like 2018 still?
So when I did the research and stuff, that was all in 2015. That was before. This was when I was in school, and I told you I was like an entrepreneur class, and we had to build a business plan. Legit, I was building my business plan on the legit business. Like the business plan said Luie Viisuals on it. Like it was real. And in that time is where I did my research on who everybody was. So that was in 2015, and then in 2018 is when Queso, released some knowledge to me. And that's the knowledge that I give to everybody else. Because it's like, seriously, if I was to give you anything else, you're just copying.
Yeah.
Like, you got to find your way from there.
No, I definitely understand that, because, like you said, I can give you the game, but after that, there's nothing else I can really tell you that's going to help you improve besides you going out there and doing it. Because I don't want you to be me. I want you to be yourself. But to help you get there properly, put your camera like this, and then we'll come back and we'll look at your work.
Yeah, but it's super, like, honestly, it's super flattering a lot. Like, and I see the impact I make on a lot of the people's videos around here. I see it. I'm like, oh, man.
Influence me.
Like, that looks familiar. That shot looks like familiar. And it's like, honestly, some people hit me like, oh, did you see that? I'm like, yeah, I seen it. That's freaking awesome. You feel me?
I'm gonna say, do you take offense to it, or you're like, nah, this means I'm really doing what I'm supposed to be doing?
Only one time it's only certain times I take offense to things, and it's like, and this is why I really post behind the scenes stuff anymore, is because, I'm gonna be honest, I probably don't edit as fast as most people do. I don't edit as fast. I take my time with it. So I post up behind the scenes stuff of like what I'm doing and everything like that, and then I'll see in like a week or two somebody just posted a video that was legit about to drop, like the one I'm doing, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, seriously, come on, guys. Like, or I'll start doing something, and literally, like, maybe 2 days later, somebody else is doing it, and it's just like, it's flattering, but it's like, can I get it first? You feel me? Can I get it first? But yeah, no, it's all, it just happens like that, and it's all good. At the end of the day, I always think, like, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. It's what I'm here for. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. And if I feel some type of way that people are inspired by my work, then what am I doing?
Yeah, what am I doing it for?
Yeah.
I say, no, I can relate to that because for a long time I didn't follow any of the other creatives in the city
don't.
Because I don't want to be influenced by your work. Like, and I know that I will be because I'm still so early in my career trying to find myself. If I know if I like something you did, I'm like, I might not subconsciously, like, purposely go out and do it, but in some way, shape, or form, it's going to be involved in my creative process, and I don't want to, one, step on people's toes, or two, limit myself to figure out what I could have done. Like, yeah, like you said, when you looked at that guy's photos, it inspired you, but you know that you were not about to go out and literally recreate what he just did.
Exactly.
So,
just like you said, when I was growing up, I didn't follow anybody. I still don't. I think the only people I follow is Queso and TJ, and that's because I've actually personally worked with them. Yeah.
No, I think that's super important, and I know for me personally, like, I just want to thank you while we're on the camera because when I first had started, wanted to start the business, you were one of the people I felt like I can trust and hit up and ask for, like, just some information. Not like, oh, can I come on set or nothing, but it's like, how would this work? Like, when I want to shoot a video, can I get to keep the rights? Is it the other artists? Like, just those type of questions. And you answered, and at first I was never like, well, I look at Luie like he's up here, but is he still for the people? And when you respond, I'm like, all right, cool. He's still just like I thought he was. So
I definitely don't see me as that person up there. Like, I'm not that. And I appreciate you reaching out to me because to show that I'm not that person. Because, I mean, people probably think I'm like that because I just stay to myself, but it's just because I just stay to myself. I mean, what's the point of all the extra drama? I mean, I'm not the type of person to just go out and do stuff just because. Like, everything I do is just for a reason. If I don't got a reason to do something, I'm not going to go do it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Or would you be willing to, or would you see yourself doing for another creative kind of what Queso have done for you, as far as like kind of like, I don't want to say like take you under the wing, but just helping you go into the direction he could see, like, because he believed in you. He's like, yo, just come along for this journey. Could you see yourself doing that for someone else?
Oh, for sure. I feel like it's one of those things that's necessary. Like, you want things to grow. You want things to grow, and you want, I don't know. It's just something about the pettiness that's not really with me. It don't appeal to me. Like, exactly. It's like, because I feel like people who get trapped and stuff like that have expectations. You know, they bring somebody on and they have expectations of that person and who they're supposed to be and how long they're supposed to be around. You can't have those expectations because that's just only going to hurt you in the long run. I mean, with me, and I feel like the reason why I've gotten so far so fast is because I don't have expectations. I made a plan to do everything by myself. I made the plan that I was going to go make this shit happen. The fact that Queso helped me and got me further along faster. Oh my gosh, it was a fucking blessing. It was a fucking blessing. But would it have not happened? No, I would have eventually happened, and he knows that. It would have eventually happened, but he gave me the blessing and the opportunity to go out and prove myself. And of course, I would have to give somebody else that opportunity. Yeah, but they would also have to show the dedication I did. Like, the first time Queso took me out somewhere, it was a dual job. I did the entire thing myself. My man didn't even have to pick up his camera. I did both video and pictures. Like, I was running video like this while I was snapping, taking pictures at the same time. Like, that's the type of dedication I need to see, though.
Now, we touched on it a little bit earlier as far as the coloring, but I also did see a status that you made in 2021 where you said the directed by Luie Viisuals era was coming to an end and it would soon be the colored by. Is that still a part of your plan? For sure,
but I'm not worried about Luie Viisuals anymore.
It's a full brand that you're...
I'm not worried about Luie Viisuals. I'm not worried about my personal brand anymore. That's another big reason why I cover my face, because it's not about me. This is not what I have coming, and everything I got going on and everything that I've been learning is not about me. So that doesn't take into effect now. It does, but it doesn't. Like, yeah, it's about to be a whole lot more coloring, a whole lot of more different stuff, but it's not going to be Luie Viisuals. It's going to be the Visual Village. Because
so
it's not about me.
You don't want to just break yourself down and limit it. You want literally them to focus on everything that you bring to the table.
Because I plan on having more than just me. I got somebody learning how to edit right now. I'm teaching them how to edit. Just so one day, we have a plan and everything, and so in 2 months they'll be ready to start being my editor.
Right.
So I don't have to do
I'll
stuff.
send it over to you, and
you edit it, and then you send it back. I'll color it. And then we just so we got more free time, and we got them on budgets, and everything like that. Just plans out for the whole next couple years, just how we plan on wanting to make things go, and it's just kind of like that. It's not about me anymore. It's about the whole visual brand.
As a creative, we all have moments where we go through creative blocks or we're overwhelmed with the pressure. What do you personally do to fight through those times?
Cry. I let it out.
I
let it out. I let it out. Because when you hold it in, it's like just going to keep eating at you. So you just got to let that shit out. Put a pillow to your face and let it out. Like, just literally just let it out. Nobody got to be there. Nobody even got to know. It don't even matter. If I would have just told y'all this right now, you wouldn't have known.
I'll be crying.
You feel me? It's just like that, though. Everybody does it, and it's okay to do it, but life is hard. Anxiety freaking sucks. Anxiety can get to the point where you feel like you can't even breathe anymore. Let that shit out. Let it out. Don't be afraid to. And that's what I do. And after I let it all out, everything kind of clears up. I just get into that, fuck it, let's do it. Let's do it. I mean, it's over with.
Yeah.
That's not going to change shit. Let's make it happen.
Are you pleased with your progression thus far?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, because I do feel like I've grown. I do feel like I've grown fast, and I was able to instill a new standard. Honestly, instill a new standard into the city and stuff like that, and it's super awesome. And I love seeing stuff like people like you doing interviews and attacking something that nobody else out here is doing. You're finding your thing and you're attacking it. Freaking go for it. And no, because ever since the pandemic hit, I feel like I've been slacking. I feel like I've been slacking a little bit. Things kind of closed down. Like me and Queso ended tour early because of the pandemic. So it was just kind of one of those things where I fell into a slump. I wasn't feeling the craft. I wasn't feeling it anymore. Like I burned out. I legit burned out. Everything was just frustrating me. I was super anxious about just anything. I was just super anxious, and I kind of just stopped. And ever since then I've been. I think 2020. That's when I stopped. In 2021, I was trying to pick it back up, but I feel like it was harder to pick up. Like when you don't work out for a while and you try to pick up that 200 pound.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it was a lot harder to pick up, and now I'm starting to get back into the flow of things, and we're making that progression happen, and then now that I see that it was all for a reason, because if I would have kept moving and kept doing stuff, I wouldn't have had the clarity I have today.
So it's kind of a full circle thing.
For sure.
Now, you had a professor who told you were going to take over the world, despite you being on the verge of failing the class. When you think about that statement, and then you think about yourself now, do you see in them what they saw? Do you see in yourself what they saw in you?
Dr. Wood, my gosh. Yeah, I do. And it was kind of one of all these things, and she even told me, she was like, and the reason why is because, you may not do good on a paper test, but if I ask somebody to go get the job done, I would send you to go do it. She was like, if anybody in this classroom to go get the job done, it would be you. It wouldn't be none of these people in here getting A's. And I'm like, okay. So that stuck with me a lot, to where paper tests, all that don't mean nothing to me. It really don't mean nothing to me. My degree, I used to set up my degree on my thing, I put it away. It don't mean nothing to me no more. I know what I'm out here doing. I'm taking over the world. And honestly, that motivation, like I that's the type of thing where after you cry, you get, it's time to take over the world. You gotta find what that person saw in you when you didn't see it in you. When you thought she was about to fail her class, you know, she didn't even like you. You know.
Right. Now we kind of already touched on it as far as for the business. You know, now it's about to become the village where you're bringing in editors. You're focused on pretty much the whole brand rather than it just being Luie. So for your personal side, because we talked about your fiance, is the wedding coming up anytime soon?
That's something we're trying to get it going. We've been thinking about it so much. We definitely want to do it before we're 30. I'm 28 now.
Okay, so yeah.
So we're definitely trying to do it before we're that time. We just don't even know what we want as a wedding. Like, we get so back and forth. We even shoot, like, we shoot weddings too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we shoot weddings and we do that whole thing with the Viisuals brand. But yeah,
it's just still a lot to think about.
It's just so much because we go to we see these big weddings and everything like that, and even after those weddings, people are like, "Oh man, you guys should elope." And it's like, oh man.
Like, dang.
And it also just, I don't know, it's just a whole lot of stuff we want to think. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot
of money and it's just between me and her, we know we good.
Yeah.
Like, we know what it is, we know what we here for, we know what we doing. And it's just like, do we really want to spend all that bread?
I was saying, it could be one of those things where you probably get married at the courthouse or something.
No, we're definitely going to do it though, because she bought her dress.
Oh dang, so she's like, nah, we
did have it planned a while ago, but we had to postpone it just because, it wasn't becoming our wedding anymore with all these other outside inputs. But no, she bought her dress already, so I already know, she's walking down the aisle. Yeah. I don't want to see her walk down. That's for me.
You gonna cry?
I want to see her walk down the aisle. Yeah, man.
Give the money.
Yeah. Yeah. All the photographers, they better catch that. I'm going to be bawling. Yes, I'm going to be so emotional that day. But, yeah.
Do you guys want to have kids as well?
Yeah, it's scary, but yeah. Just because I don't feel like an adult. Like, I just feel like a responsible kid kind of. So it's like, how am I going to take care of a kid if I feel like a kid?
True. No, I think you guys are a great couple. I'm happy to hear you have someone in your corner who's pushing you to be better, and she's giving you the inspiration to be better. I think that's always a great aspect for life in general. And like I said, I wanted to talk to you just because I wanted to pick your brain. I wanted to get you on camera and talk to you and just let the people know more about the brand that you're building, because you're going to take over the world. It's just inevitable. So again, I want to thank you for coming to sit down with us. Tell the people where to find you, IG, social media.
I'm Luie Viisuals. You can find me on Instagram at Luie LUIE .Viisuals VIISUALS. And then you can do the same thing on Facebook. Honestly, all my social medias are the same. Luie.Viisuals. You'll be able to find me there.
All right. Again, thank you for sitting down with us. I really enjoyed this conversation. Another episode of Cloudy Conversations.
I appreciate you.